Throughout the history of Microsoft, we always were thinking about, okay, when could we make breakthroughs in AI? Relationship with OpenAI and Microsoft, I stay very on top of the latest advances. We're going to have AI free to them in their native language so they can explain their health challenge. AI is only a bubble in the sense that not all of these valuations will end up going up.
Bill Gates just made a statement that should stop everyone in their tracks. The man who helped create the personal computer revolution, who built one of the world's most valuable companies, who has seen every major tech shift of the past 50 years, just said artificial intelligence is bigger than all of it. Not just another innovation, not just the next big thing, bigger than everything.
When someone with that track record speaks, the world listens. But what makes this moment truly unprecedented isn't just what Gates is saying, it's what's happening behind the scenes that most people haven't connected yet. Trillions of dollars are being poured into infrastructure. Entire power grids are being reconsidered. Data centers have become political battlegrounds, and there's a growing tension between promise and fear that's starting to show up not just in boardrooms, but in public opinion polls and community town halls. Gates isn't sounding an alarm because he's afraid of the technology. He's sounding it because he understands exactly what happens when something this transformative collides with human systems that aren't ready. And according to him, we're already past the point where opting out is an option. To understand why Gates believes this is bigger than everything, we need to start with a question that keeps coming up but rarely gets properly answered. Are we in an AI bubble? Gates draws a sharp distinction here that changes everything about how we should think about what's happening right now. If by bubble you mean something hollow, like the tulip craze centuries ago, where value was purely imagined and nothing lasting remained, then no, this isn't that. AI is not empty speculation. It's producing real results, solving real problems, creating real value right now. But if by bubble you mean something closer to the dot-com era, where massive overinvestment, failed companies, and burned capital happened alongside one of the most important technological shifts in human history, then yes, absolutely, we're in that kind of bubble. This framing matters because it explains why so many companies are racing forward even when the math doesn't fully add up yet. They know some investments will fail spectacularly. They know some data centers will be built in the wrong places. They know some chip purchases will become obsolete faster than expected. And they're doing it anyway. Why? Because, as Gates puts it bluntly, if you want to be a serious technology company in this era, you don't get to sit this one out. The race is on, and choosing not to participate is choosing to become irrelevant.
It was great to get the visibility for Quest, that even though it's been a little harder than we expected, throughout the history of Microsoft, we always were thinking about, okay, when could we make breakthroughs in AI? Relationship with OpenAI and Microsoft, I stay very on top of the latest advances. We're going to have AI free to them in their native language so they can explain their health challenge. AI is only a bubble in the sense that not all of these valuations will end up going up. Does it mean all of these companies with high valuations will all be winners? No, it's going to be hyper-competitive.
Gates is remarkably honest about the waste that's happening. A lot of money being spent right now will lead to dead ends. Some companies will look back and realize they committed too early to the wrong infrastructure, the wrong energy model, or the wrong generation of hardware. Others will discover that the value they expected to capture was leapfrogged by the next breakthrough before they could even monetize the last one. But here's the crucial insight. The presence of waste doesn't negate the value of the transformation. In fact, it confirms it. This is what happens when intelligence itself becomes scalable. When you can suddenly provide medical advice without geographic barriers, personalized education without elite institutions, or accelerate drug design beyond human timelines, the economic value becomes almost impossible to overstate. Gates calls AI the biggest technical shift of his lifetime. That's not a small claim coming from someone who lived through the birth of personal computing, the internet revolution, and the mobile era. What makes AI different isn't just automation, it's the democratization of intelligence itself. But this is where the conversation shifts from excitement to friction. Because intelligence at scale requires infrastructure at scale, and infrastructure means energy, massive amounts of it. Communities across the country are increasingly pushing back against new data centers. Not because they hate technology, but because they don't want their electricity bills rising to support it. They don't want local grids overloaded. They don't want opaque deals that benefit corporations while residents absorb the costs. Gates is crystal clear on this point. Society does not have permission to raise household energy costs just to fuel AI expansion.
If you mean it's like the internet bubble, where in the end something very profound happened, there are a ton of these investments that will be dead end. The AI is the biggest technical thing ever in my lifetime.
If this technology is going to scale responsibly, the energy model has to change with it. That's why he repeatedly points to advanced nuclear solutions as a necessity, not a luxury. We need large-scale, reliable power sources placed in locations where the economics and political acceptance make sense. Power that supports AI growth without burdening everyday consumers. This isn't just a technical challenge, it's a trust problem. People are already uneasy about AI's impact on their lives, and energy is only half the story. The other half is jobs, and Gates doesn't sugarcoat this reality. AI will affect the job market, not overnight and not all at once, but steadily and undeniably. Some roles will change fundamentally, some will shrink, some will disappear entirely. And pretending otherwise, he argues, is not just dishonest, it's counterproductive. What's fascinating is how carefully he frames this concern. Acknowledging job displacement doesn't slow innovation, it builds credibility. People can sense when leaders are avoiding hard truths, and that avoidance creates backlash far faster than transparency ever could. The tension is already visible in communities being asked to host the infrastructure that accelerates automation while worrying about losing their own jobs. That contradiction cannot be ignored, and Gates insists it shouldn't be. Then there's the role of government in all this. Gates has long been a capitalist, but he's also pragmatic about policy. His main concern isn't whether governments should be involved in shaping AI's future, but how they do it. Predictability matters more than ideology. When companies invest billions into factories, chips, and energy infrastructure, they need to know what the rules will look like decades from now, not months from now. Constantly shifting tariffs, subsidies, or ownership structures make long-term planning almost impossible. Gates raises a critical question that cuts to the heart of modern industrial policy. When governments support emerging technologies, are they doing it for national benefit while treating companies equally, or are they positioning themselves as partial owners who might favor their own stakes over better innovations elsewhere?
We will create new tools. We will have a vaccine for HIV and malaria. The poorest in the world should benefit first from AI, not be 10 or 20 years behind. Fortunately, our innovation is going faster than ever. Thanks to great science, if we do the right things, we can cut childhood death in half again.
That distinction matters because unclear rules don't just slow progress, they distort it. They incentivize lobbying over engineering, proximity to power over actual performance. And right now, Gates believes those rules are dangerously undefined. This uncertainty adds another layer to why this moment feels so unstable, yet so inevitable. We have massive private investment colliding with public concern, all wrapped in political ambiguity, converging around a technology that keeps getting better faster than anyone expected. Despite all of this, Gates remains fundamentally optimistic, not blindly so, but structurally. He's seen this pattern before. Revolutionary technologies always arrive messy. They overpromise in the short term, they overspend, they scare people, they break things, and then, slowly but inevitably, they reshape the world in ways that feel obvious only in hindsight. The internet followed this exact path. So did personal computing. The difference now is the compressed timeline. AI accelerates everything. Mistakes propagate faster, benefits scale faster, consequences arrive sooner. That's why Gates keeps returning to real-world impact. Not just benchmarks, not just profits, but actual effects on human lives. When intelligence becomes ubiquitous, the question stops being whether we can build it and becomes whether we can integrate it responsibly into society. This is what makes this moment bigger than everything, not the technology alone, but the choices surrounding it. Where it's built, how it's powered, who pays the costs, who captures the value, and how honestly we talk about the trade-offs along the way. The distinction between AI and artificial general intelligence becomes crucial here. Gates points out that we're already seeing AI replace humans in specific tasks. Satya Nadella reports that 30% of Microsoft's code is now being written by AI. That's not a future prediction, it's happening right now, and it has immediate implications for employment. What does a paralegal do that isn't essentially pattern recognition? What about entry-level accounting work? These are tasks AI can already handle better and cheaper than humans. White-collar work, particularly for recent college graduates, is about to face challenges we've never seen before. But Gates frames this in an interesting way. When you improve productivity, you create choices. You can produce more with the same people, or you can free up those people for other tasks. Smaller classes for teachers, longer vacations, more creative work. The issue isn't productivity improvement itself. It's the speed of change and whether society has time to adjust. And this is just the beginning. When robotic systems become more sophisticated, blue-collar work faces similar disruption. This represents a profound set of changes that will ripple through every sector of the economy. For young people entering this world, Gates offers advice that's both practical and philosophical. The ability to use these AI tools isn't just useful, it's empowering. He describes how he used to have an advantage because he could call brilliant people when confused about complex topics. Now, he uses AI research tools first, then checks with experts who often confirm the AI got it right. The message is clear. Embrace these tools, track their development, stay curious. But he's also honest that there's no guarantee we won't see significant dislocation. The key is being prepared, adaptable, and honest about what's coming. AI is not a bubble that will burst and disappear. It's a force that will sort winners from losers, adapt institutions or break them, and redefine what work, learning, and expertise even mean in the 21st century. Bill Gates isn't shocked by this future. He's warning that pretending it's smaller than it is would be the real mistake. Because whether we're ready or not, this is the shift every system, every industry, every individual now has to face. The infrastructure is being built. The investments are being made. The technology is improving at a rate that surprises even its creators. And according to one of the most successful technologists in history, it's only just beginning.
The real question isn't whether AI will change everything. It's whether we'll be honest enough about that change to navigate it successfully. Gates believes we can, but only if we stop pretending this is just another tech cycle and start preparing for what it really is, the biggest transformation in human capability we've ever seen. That's it for today, folks. See you in the next video.